Meet Yong Deng, a 30-year-old refugee on a mission to prove no dream is too big or out of reach. Yong is a first-year medical student, ambassador for the South Sudanese community and aspiring rural doctor for the Shepparton community in regional Victoria. But behind his credentials is a story of overcoming adversity and struggles far greater than that of his peers.
I actually came to Australia in 2009 and it's been quite a journey. My parents are Southern Sudanese, so I was born in Southern Sudan and there was a civil war in South Sudan that lasts really the longest time ever, and we moved to a refugee camp soon after losing my father, and we stayed in a refugee camp for about 16 years. So a lot of things that I've learned, I picked them up in the refugee camp.
From South Sudan to Shepparton, personal tragedy drove a desire to make a difference.
It was really hard. All you focus on is what you're going to eat next. So it was really a tough life. I have a lot of relative community members that died of curable conditions such as malaria, typhoid, things such as whooping cough.
Working first as a clinical pharmacist before pursuing his medical studies at one of the most prestigious medical schools in Australia, Yong has worked hard chasing an education he could only have dreamt of as a child.
The values that you're brought up with and things that you are taught to be important, and education is one of those things that was considered to be really crucial.
Using his experiences to defy the odds, Yong set himself up to help his community into the future.
I'm really passionate with working with people, dealing with people, and also having those empathetic feeling where you have to understand where people are coming from. And I think, that's why I really, really want to be a doctor.
A unique partnership between La Trobe University and the University of Melbourne has allowed him the opportunity to study medicine with some of the best in the country.
What University of Melbourne and La Trobe University are doing is getting young people from regional and rural backgrounds so that they can come and study in rural and regional areas to understand what it looks like to live in rural areas, and when they become doctors, they can close those gaps that we have in our healthcare system.
With this degree, once he finishes studying, one of the prerequisites is to work in regional Victoria for 3 years. But according to Yong, he has plans to stay put for much longer.
You don't see a lot of young Southern Sudanese that say like, oh, I want to be like Dr. Leg Marquay, I want to be like Ane, I want to be like Dr. Garang. And I think this is the space for me to do that.
His goal, assuring help is reached in even the furthest corners of Victoria.
You would think, for example, here in Shepparton, we should have all the fresh food that we need because it's all farm and things, but we don't have a lot of like processing industry, so everything have to be shipped somewhere and come back, and it makes it really hard. And within medicine, it is hard for doctors when they have to recommend to their patient like, okay, you lack this thing, you lack this thing. If you change your diet to have this kind of diet, it will impact your health outcome. And then the patient scratches their head and like, okay, how am I going to afford those?
But the shortage of GPs and specialists across the medical profession are not new in the region. One report revealed massive staff turnover of overworked doctors across the city. Up to 50% of doctors at one Shepparton clinic departed in 2021, while others reported significant turnover. The high turnover and low retention of medical practitioners directly impacted patient care and the mental health of staff who remain in Shepparton. Victoria's recent budget announced $300 million for a regional health infrastructure fund, offering upgrades to rural health services.
There's always more to be done. And I am also grateful because this building that we're staying in is an outcome of certain policies that it is surprising it took this long.
And as the chronic shortage worsens, the city's GPs are struggling to retain young doctors and graduates, a gap Yong Deng hopes he can help close.
What we tend to do, because we actually run a non-profit organization, so we tend to actually bring young people together, teach them how to be resilient within their own space based on their own circumstances, and see how can they actually be of service to themselves and be of service to others. And I think it is always powerful when you come from that angle, looking at things differently, although people have a similar background, don't stereotype.
Yong's next step is to graduate and become a qualified doctor, an inspirational journey he hopes to share with young people across Australia and his native South Sudan.
Hands coming together.
He's even started his own YouTube channel dedicated to inspiring young people to pursue a career in medicine.
Every opportunity that you have is a gift, and that gift, when you hand it over to other people, is how you share your blessing.
Turning his own obstacles into a beacon of hope for young aspiring doctors here and back home.